And welcome back to the Charm City Sideline Podcast. I'm Zach. This is Brad, and here's Dawson with you as well. Today we're previewing the Bills at Ravens Sunday night game in the bank, blackout. Oh my gosh, this is like everything you could ask for as a Ravens fan. The weather looking pretty good right now, but a little rainy. 70% chance of rain, but 71 degrees. If you're a betting fan out there, the Ravens are favored by 2.5 at the moment, which is a surprise to me. And the over-under is at 46.5. Lamar Jackson is 1-1 against the Bills as a starter. And since 2008, when Harbaugh was hired, the Ravens are 20-3 in home primetime games. That's pretty impressive. Brad, do you have any thoughts, like just off the rip, about this game and even that record, 20-3?
Oh man, I wish I did the research before, but I wonder what our record is in home primetime games when we're wearing all black. Because I really can't think of a game where we lost wearing all black in recent memory. Even you go back to, I went to the Ravens Bengals Sunday night game in 2021 when Mark Andrews had that one-handed catch and then Lamar scrambled around and threw the touchdown. Like, we played terrible that game and we still won because we were wearing the all black uniforms. So I really don't know how it's going to go, but primetime Ravens with Lamar and Harbaugh, it's just like, I feel like, how people talk about, oh, when you're at home, you get like +2 on the spread or whatever. I feel like Ravens blackout primetime is like +2 on the spread as well.
+3, +4. Yeah. Dawson, what do you think?
I am not 100% confirming this, but I believe I saw something earlier on Twitter that the Ravens are like some crazy number in all black games at the bank in the recent years. I'm pretty sure we're undefeated. I might be completely wrong, but I'm pretty confident in this statement. I could have swore I saw something on Twitter that said we were damn near undefeated in recent years at home when we were all black.
We are 18-6 all time, that's a good record. That's a good record.
But I think I saw something where it was like 5 or 6-0 in recent years, which, if that is true, that is amazing. That is just pure dominance. The all black games are so exciting. Obviously, dude, everyone looks forward to it. They're the best uniforms we have. Hence why I'm wearing it right now, because I'm so pumped for this game. This is going to be an absolute juggernaut fight. Great team versus great team, and the Bills. I mean, you can argue anybody right now, but Bills are probably the best team in football. They got to be the best. And they're coming into the bank, dude. Our backs are against the wall, and it's going to be an absolute dogfight. And I cannot wait. And this is just going to be a great game, and it's going to be a shootout to the end, I think. And hopefully the team that comes out on top is our Ravens.
Yeah, looking at the injury report for this game, Bills declared out linebacker Terrell Bernard and corner Teron Johnson, two big names for their defense. They're left with a lot of backups in the linebacker department. The Ravens, on the other hand, as of Thursday, most of them practiced. The only two not, Jalen Armour-Davis and Andrew Voorhees. That was kind of a surprising name to me. But let's get into a little history here. Bills and Ravens. Ravens are 6-5 against the Bills all time with an average margin of victory of 14.3 points. Like, this is the second time that I looked into this stat, because last week I was like, Ravens against Cowboys are what? Like, average margin of victory is like 16 points. Like, I'm just very impressed with these numbers. The average margin of loss is 5.6. So if we play a close game, it doesn't really favor us. The Ravens are 5-2 at home against them. The last loss was 2022 in Baltimore. In the regular season, the Bills came back from down 20-3. Not our best look. One of the many comebacks that kind of scars us. But they also played them in the 2020 divisional round. The Bills beat the Ravens 17-3. Lamar had that concussion. Tucker missed 2 field goals. That is a disgusting game. Like, I've honestly completely erased it from my mind until I talk about the Bills. Like, it's such a gross game. What do you guys think about the history between these two teams?
All I remember from that game, outside of the choke job that happened in that game, was this amazing play. Lamar was like scrambling for his life and just tossed the ball up to the left side of the field, and I think Devin Duvernay caught it. And dude, that play was nuts. I hope you guys remember what I'm talking about. That play was tipped by like 3 players, and Dove just caught it like right on the end and stayed in bounds, and we got the first down. That was a crazy play, but that game was a slop fest, dude. I'm pretty sure the weather was terrible in that game, and yeah, we had a great lead, and go figure, we choked it away and lost. But so that sucks. But overall, these are two teams that ever since 2018 have been atop the league every year, thanks to the two quarterbacks that are playing. Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen are both phenomenal, and I think respectively number two and number three in the league. However you want to put them over one another is fine. Um, so they've had great battles over the years, more so in their favor than ours, of course, which sucks. But this is a game to get back, and they're hot right now. They have nothing to lose essentially. I mean, they're undefeated, so who knows what can happen in this game? And I think our backs are against the wall, if anything, and it's gonna be interesting because the Ravens dropped to 1-3. It's not gonna be pretty, and this is a big test, especially at home. Where for some reason in recent years, we've played poorly, I guess you could say, because I feel like this team plays better on the road. But when it comes to all black at the bank, dude, the atmosphere is unreal, and there's nothing like it. This team rallies behind it, and man, this team's gonna come out firing Sunday night.
It feels like we always play the Bills in bad weather. You go back to 2018 when we actually started. The Ravens started that season very well, with Joe Flacco and the Ravens blowing out the Bills, and Lamar first career game got in there in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you got 2019, actually fine weather up in Buffalo. Lamar wore his long white sleeves for a reason that I think you guys might remember. And we won that game. Let's see. Yeah, 2020, man. That divisional round game in 2020, technically 2021 January. That was rough because that's a season where we were 6-5, finished 11-5. Lamar got his first playoff win against the Titans in Nashville, and again, first drive of the Ravens offense, marching down the field, and some weird screenplay didn't work. Lamar got sacked, Tucker missed a field goal, and then it's just But the history's been interesting, and then what my original point, 2022 raining again, just bad weather every time we play the Bills. And then it might be raining on Sunday, so
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't. I'm a big fan of calm, no rain games, but yeah, we'll see, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to dive into some notable Bills moves. Shout out to Alan. Thanks for joining us here. They traded Stephon Diggs, all Pro Bowl wide receiver, to the Texans. That was their big offseason move. They released center Mitch Morse and corner Tre'Davious White in the offseason, and they drafted wide receiver Keon Coleman. Their offseason was kind of a lot of downs, it felt like. A lot of people were down on the Bills, and then starting 3-0, I'm just kind of impressed. Like, everyone kind of was saying that, who's Josh going to throw to? Is James Cook really going to do that much better? Is their O-line going to be able to perform? And all factors of those three have been elite and looking like possibly the best in the league. Like, it is very impressive what they're doing. I think on the defensive side of the ball, it's a little more sketchy. In their 3 games they've played so far, like, no one's really tried to mess with them yet. Like, everything's kind of been in general. I think the Cardinals played them so well and kind of choked it in the end. It kind of reminded me of us. But looking at just like the highlights for all these 3 games, I'm like, wow, like this is an impressive team, and they haven't really had the big test yet. Even with Miami, who I would consider pretty good, Miami they lost to a third quarter, I think. So even then, they didn't really get to finish it off and really have a full 4-quarter game with an elite team. Guys, what do you think about the Bills, these offseason moves, and what they're doing through 3 weeks?
It's pretty crazy because when you lose an all-pro wide receiver, you'd expect that team to immediately take a gigantic hit and be a very notable absence within the offense, especially if you don't exactly fill that need, immediately. And I know they drafted Keon Coleman in hopes of him being wide receiver 1 there, but it's crazy because this Buffalo offense hasn't missed a beat, and Josh Allen is playing as good as he ever has right now. He's firmly in the MVP conversation through 3
Oh, yeah.
weeks, and I know it's 3 weeks, but still, he's there. The dude's putting up insane numbers with Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, Curtis Samuel, Dalton Kincaid, James Cook. And I'm not, there's worse offenses, of course. There's worse supporting casts in the league, but the fact that he's doing this with his wide receiver 1 right now being Khalil Shakir, to me is crazy. And we have, I would say, a substantially better wide receiver one in Baltimore than they have, and the numbers that Josh Allen puts up is just no matter what is ridiculous. He's truly an MVP. He carries that team, and without him, they would be nowhere where they are. But it's scary because they have weapons and they make use of these guys, and they're a lot more dangerous than you would think. You go into the game, you're looking at Khalil Shakir, and it's like, oh yeah, our defense matches up great against them. We have all pro corners, we got Pro Bowl corners and stuff, and a first round corner. But who knows? Khalil Shakir could go for 130 yards. It's just like it's an interesting matchup because they truly have a quarterback who makes use of anything. And now, not to mention, James Cook has jumped into the picture as a serious touchdown threat. And he's been having a good start to the season, which last year, he wasn't an immediate threat. It wasn't a guy to fear, but now he's quickly becoming one of those. But, you know, they've lost some guys. They lost guys on defense, losing Trey White. Obviously, he was an all pro corner for all those years, and, he was very good. But, their defense still makes moves. Like, they're still a good defense, too. So it doesn't matter what this team looks like on paper. They're a very good team. They're fully expected to be a Super Bowl contender and potentially win the AFC. And if the Ravens want any chance in this fight, throughout the season, they've got to make a statement in this game. But, on paper, they don't look phenomenal. But I'll tell you what, this team's a lot better than I think, than people think they are. And they're quite literally the best team in the NFL right now. So the Ravens better be ready because this team's going to come in and try to punch us in the mouth and take this game early. So Ravens got to be able to respond and adapt to what this team throws at them, and hopefully we can dish out what they don't want to see.
Yeah, in our season predictions, I had the Bills missing the playoffs. Did all three of us have them missing the playoffs?
I think I did. I don't remember, to be honest.
So,
but
it really was just what Dawson's talking about. On paper, it's one of the worst rosters they've had. But, when you look at it, it's Joe Brady's second year as OC there. And I think it was really underrated / not talked about him being there last year, taking over for Ken Dorsey. And these first couple weeks, it's looked really good on offense. A lot of motion. James Cook getting involved, who looks amazing. I mean, he's another big-time fantasy running back right now. Dawson touched on Khalil Shakir, man. It's like the weapons they have with Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, the rookie first-round pick, Mac Hollins, MVS, Curtis Samuel. They got a lot of guys who are capable. They don't really have even a Zay Flowers, I would say. Khalil Shakir might turn out – I mean, he's looked really good. He might turn out to be a number one receiver in this league. I mean, the way they're using him is almost like perfect for him. But the Bills are running a lot of motion, getting James Cook involved. Watching the film, it's really interesting how they are, they're basically figuring out if they're in man or zone every single time, as Zach's dog's walking around the background there. I saw this tweet from Warren Sharp in this video of him talking about.
I saw this too. Yeah.
Yeah. Warren Sharp. I get Warren Sapp and Warren Sharp confused. Just because of the name.
Yeah.
But he was basically saying that, so the Bills have played the Cardinals, the Tua-less Dolphins, and the Jags. All three of those teams chuck the ball down the field basically and outside the numbers. And the Ravens basically don't do that at all. So with the Bills being 3-0, they haven't really faced a team that just runs the ball up the middle all the time, throws short passes, middle of the field, 2 tight ends. So that'll definitely be interesting. If you guys have any other points, go ahead. But
it's definitely a new look that the Bills defense is going to see. They haven't seen, like you just said, I'm going to just copy you. They said, the Bills have not seen an offense like Baltimore's. I mean, this team is ground and pound and inside the numbers over across the middle of the field. It's not like, we got Zay out here running outside the numbers and stuff downfield. It's not this type of offense. So it's going to be interesting to see how this Baltimore offense can get going early on in this game, just because, it's going to be interesting because Sid Go Bills, cheers to a healthy game. I respect that. Cheers to a healthy game. I hope it is a healthy game, but I think go Ravens in this case, not Bills. But Lions versus Bills Super Bowl. Oh my!
Yeah, I want to talk about this. Like,
there's a good comment here.
I tried to look into the offseason for the Bills. Like, just seeing those 3 names that I mentioned earlier, Morse, White, and Diggs, not even mentioning Poyer and Hyde. Like, They've had injuries to Matt Milano was a big deal. Like he seems to be really injury ridden lately. Like it's kind of amazing how they're 3-0. Like I don't really have an exact answer just looking at highlights and of these last 3 games, seeing them dominate. But seeing I appreciate the comment here from Jason, kind of giving us a different look. Like it's some injury looks. It's
they did play Tua for 3 quarters, I will say.
But like almost fully 3 quarters, but like they still whooped them. They were beating down on them. I think it was by 2 scores. Like I mean, they definitely deserve that. When I'm pretty sure in the last few years, Josh Allen also owns Tua and the Dolphins. So
yeah.
I mean, Josh Allen is like Lamar to the Bengals. It's their dad.
It's a rough story.
Yeah, to continue the conversation, I think the Cardinals ran a lot of 12 personnel and some gap inside runs and had a lot of success against the Bills, and the Ravens are going to do that too with Lamar and Derrick Henry. The Bills have just done such a good job in these 3 games, schematically wise, offense and defense. How we talked about beginning of the year, it doesn't seem like their talent is where it has been in the past, but they're just doing a great job on both sides of the ball coaching. So yeah, and like you look at what Jason touched on, the injuries to Milano, that's big. He's been making good plays against Lamar in the past couple meetings against the Bills. And then Bernard is a good linebacker, and Teron Johnson, who had the pick 6 in the divisional round against Lamar. 3 really, really good players that are out. So Ravens are going to be trying to attack the Bills linebackers and possibly, some of the secondary with Teron Johnson being out too.
This is the Mark Andrews game, boys. Buy the stock while it's low. This is a Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely masterclass, as it should be, though. As it hopefully should be. The Ravens definitely need to. I mean, like we said last week, there's always a blueprint. There's always a blueprint. And this week, it's going to be attacking the middle of the field and getting those guys rolling, and just work, run and attack the middle of the field. Get the tight ends going early and often, and you can expose a weakness there, and just keep pounding until they find a way to stop it, because there's definitely a method to success there. And I think the dog over here, I think he agrees. The Ravens can get them confused, make them second guess their first read, which Lamar does so well with RPO looks. Thanks for the comment, Jason. But yeah, dude, I mean, if we open up this offense and start attacking them with something they haven't seen throughout the season, I mean, they're going to have to respond. And if we start early, get out to a good start. I know we have the blown leads, of course, in our track record, but if we start off hot against this team and get going early and kind of sustain success and get this crowd juiced up, including Zach, who's going to be there on Sunday night, if we get this crowd into it, man, I don't see why. I don't see how this game could go in an opposite trajectory. I just think this team is going to be so amped up on Sunday night, dude. This is such a big game. Like it's week 4, bro, but this is like a huge game. Statement to be made.
Another thing.
Oh no, go ahead.
Sorry, Zach. Just real quick. Another thing that Jason pointed out about the RPOs that the Ravens run and the zone reads with Lamar and Derrick Henry. The Cowboys did a horrendous job at defending that, and I think you see that from a lot of NFC teams that play the Ravens, and the Bills are just so much better at defending the reads and the RPOs. So it'll definitely be more difficult than it was in Dallas, but that's to be expected.
Well, it's also hard too, and I'm not comparing the two because they do play a different style of ball, but it's also very eerily similar. Is they have Josh Allen at quarterback, and they have a guy who can move and do a lot of things that Lamar can do. And I know they're completely different, but at the same time, they have a lot of similarities. So they kind of have a firsthand look and knowledge of what a quarterback with mobility and the rushing success, what they can do, and with weapons around them. So so they kind of have a firsthand look, and they can kind of expect what's going to happen from the Ravens on Sunday night. I'm sure they know what the Ravens are going to try to do, obviously, and it's going to be interesting to see exactly how this game gets going early.
I was so interested watching it. Like James Cook's involvement in their offense is just like unbelievable. It's like he's truly used as like his older brother, like in old Minnesota offenses. Like he is given so many opportunities to make plays because he does. Like anytime that he would get inside handoff, screen, play action, like a short dump off. His first like 3 steps are like as fast as I've ever seen in the NFL. Like it really is. Like I'm not downplaying that. Like he has some true like jitter type moves that it's like, dang, this guy's good. Like it really is like old Dalvin Cook stuff. I think last week they were abusing Cook with these deep routes for their wide receivers and Kincaid, and then just kind of, oh, hey, Cook's open underneath, and he would just make stuff happen. 20 yards, 15 yards. He's really the game wrecker for them. I think what we do so well, the Ravens do so well, is they put people like Kyle Hamilton on those kind of lower stuff to just eliminate those type of plays. So I'm interested to see what the Bills do to combat that, because that seems to be where their sauce was really made in the last few weeks. I'm going to kind of shift to we have a segment which non-QB needs to have a big game, and I want to talk about Khalil Shakir because he's like basically the same type of weapon for the Bills. He's kind of the finding him on short yardage routes, and he's making plays happen. And both Cook and Shakir have provided them a different level of explosiveness, and it's really just from Josh Allen getting them the ball in any way they can. It's little stuff, and they're still able to explode, even though Shakir's a great deep threat too. Like Keon Coleman is so lethal with just let him go and just throw it up there. Like he's stronger, he's taller, he's a bully, and I saw someone post about it today. He got benched in the first quarter last week because of a team related issue, and he came in first play of the second quarter and gets a catch, and like they go down the field. I think he might actually score a touchdown that drive. But like their team is just, it's so well coached. I'm so jealous of how their team is run right now because not to bang on the same drum, Diggs, Mitch Morse, and Trey White, if you told me last year that the Bills would lose them, like we predicted, we thought that they were going to suck. Like it makes sense. Yeah. And their team is so well coached and well created from their front office. It's like, I'm very blown away by them, because really in the past I've had such low expectations from the Bills. Maybe it's just because, Patriots kind of dominated that division, but I'm just impressed by them. I can't believe how much, like, I can't hate Josh Allen. Like I can't hate him. It's kind of like it's so easy for me to dislike Bro and Mahomes now, but Josh Allen, I'm like, dang, look at him go. Like, it's kind of like, just like, dang, bro, look at it. But so I cheer for them every other week. It's just kind of like, gosh, dude, the Bills are impressive to me. I'm just surprised.
Yeah, they're a very good team. There's no doubt about that. I want to say, what's up, Moltec? Appreciate you being here. I definitely agree. I think this is going to be a high scoring game. But I want to kind of go off what Zach said. The Bills offense definitely thrives off their yards after catch, mobility and ability to just get giant plays down the field. So they definitely got to be ready for that. James Cook, Khalil Shakir, they're even their tight ends. Like, it's going to be a game where it's going to be a lot of quick short yard dumps, and these guys are going to take it 20, 30 yards, or at least they're going to try. So the Ravens got to be ready, and luckily they have a bunch of very quick, versatile DBs that can kind of eliminate that. I would say Darius Washington, Kyle Hamilton, even Eddie Jackson at points. I mean, these guys are kind of here for a reason, and I would say this is probably a big game as far as why they're here and why they were brought here. This is exactly what we need them for. So definitely got to watch out for that. But yeah, this is going to be an absolute strength for strength. And, to kind of go off what Zach said, as far as who needs to have a big game for the Bills to really give them a chance, I'm going to stay on the offensive side of the ball. He said Khalil Shakir, and I 100% agree, but I'm going to go with their second year tight end out of Utah and Dalton Kincaid. And that dude's a beast, and he hasn't even really hit his stride yet, which is crazy because he's already pretty good. But there's been a pretty big weakness in this Baltimore defense in the middle of the field within our linebackers so far through 3 weeks. And Travis Kelce didn't really do anything week 1, but, week 2 and 3, it was kind of exposed. Brock Bowers had a great game, and Jake Ferguson had a pretty good game. So, Dalton Kincaid, I would say, is probably the best of those 3. I mean, if I had to say. So it's going to be scary just to see how this Baltimore defense reacts to this, because they really have 2 tight end threats. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure Dawson Knox is still healthy and playing. So, and he's not awful. So they have two tight end threats who can legitimately attack the middle of the field and kind of expose this weakness within our linebackers as far as covering. So I'm really hoping Roquan and Trent Simpson kind of have a bounce back game, if you would. And I'm not saying they're playing poorly or terrible, but they've definitely been a little bit weaker of play, I would say, as far as what we've seen last season or saw last season. So I'm really hoping that the Ravens defense in the middle, especially like I said, those two guys are ready because the Bills are definitely going to utilize those tight ends. And I think if they can get Dalton Kincaid going, it could be a rough day for Baltimore because they never seem to respond. Once the tight ends start going, I feel like it keeps going from there, and they never really understand or adjust as far as quieting them down.
Yeah, Kincaid is so big for their offense, and along with Knox, I heard a announcer whenever they were last week they were like dancing to Mr. Brightside, like up like 30 points. They were having a blast, and one of the next few plays, Dawson Knox gets some big play, and they talked about he's Mr. Reliable for them. Like he's there. Hey, if we need a 3rd and 6 kind of situation, just give him a little comeback, and he's going to be there. Like it's always kind of um, he had been such a big name in fantasy and in just the NFL and their team for so long, and Kincaid just kind of like picked up where Knox kind of stopped. Like, and the best part is they have both. So I love what you said, Dawson. I feel like Kincaid's a big deal. Brad, who do you think non QB wise needs to have a big game for the Bills?
Yeah, real quick, just to add on to what you guys were saying.
Yeah.
The Bills have been great over the middle of the field on offense these first 3 weeks, and that's been the Ravens' weakness on the defensive side. So, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Marcus Williams and Roquan particularly have been having tough games in coverage. So that'll definitely, we'll see how that plays out. But for my player for the Bills that I think needs to have a good game, besides Josh Allen, of course, would be Greg Rousseau. Greg Rousseau, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated pass rushers in the NFL. He's 3 sacks this year, along with Von Miller. And I just feel like when the Ravens have played the Bills in the past, he's always been having good games. He's one of those guys that's really athletic, and not necessarily because we saw Micah Parsons couldn't even catch Lamar last year, who might be the fastest edge rusher of all time. But Greg Rousseau has done a nice job against Lamar in the past, and I could just see like him and Von Miller being able to get pressure. You talk about Voorhees possibly being out, which could possibly mean that Rosengarten starts at right tackle if McCary has to play left guard. So I just think basically the Bills pass rush, if they have a good game, I think it'll be really, really tough for the Ravens, but I think that falls more so on Greg Rousseau.
Yeah, that's definitely the most intimidating part of their team for me, at least on the defensive side. Like we talked about how Bernard and Johnson are out. There's just a lot of backups in the secondary and in the linebacking core. It's like,
so they got to get to the quarterback quick.
Yeah, like how are they 3-0? Like you'd think a team would really dominate that type of stuff, but as we mentioned with Warren Sharp, he was all over it. He gave a lot of percentages. If you guys look up that Twitter video or X video, he was telling amazing stats about how it was all on the outside for these teams, and the Ravens go in the middle. Rousseau and Von Miller just kind of, X that out. They create a positive and a negative in that case. I'm very nervous for them. Dawson, what do you think about that?
It's scary, dude. It's definitely scary because it's almost like a strength against weakness at that point, and they've been great at it all season long, and we have not, as far as covering the middle of the field and attacking it. So yeah, I'm a little intimidated by it, and I just hope that our boys are ready. But the good thing is we have tons of players who can play all across the field and play damn near every position on defense. So I trust them to have a way to manipulate them and just kind of hopefully go elsewhere as far as attacking us, chasing them. Oh, I missed that comment. Just left. Our linebackers are all young linebackers. Our secondary is a bunch of randoms overachieving, but our D line is where the money is. Yeah, that's facts. Our D line is full of a bunch of dogs, a bunch of game wreckers, and I'm not exactly sure if the Bills' offensive line is kind of generally known as a really good or really poor offensive line. I'm not
I'm
super
pretty.
knowledgeable of it.
I think he was talking about the Bills. I think. But
Oh,
yeah,
is he a Bills fan? Oh,
yeah.
that's correct.
I think.
Oh, It's funny. I didn't even catch that.
No, it's okay. Yeah. So I want to flip it to the Ravens side of it. Which non-QB needs to have a big game? I mentioned it before with these like kind of lower routes from Cook and Shakir and all their receivers, Curtis Samuel especially. That's where he kind of makes his money. Kyle Hamilton needs to have a big game. He's going to be all over that kind of lower playing line of scrimmage.
Bro's gonna be starting at nose tackle.
He's going to be. I would expect him to get a crap ton of tackles. Hopefully, a few for losses. Like it's I'm intimidated. I'm intimidated because when we take away the rush so well these last 3 weeks, and the pass game gets going so well, if we get caught in situations that the Jaguars did with, like, oh shoot, are they about to open it up because they've been running so much and we've been stopping it? Nope, dump down. They get a few 10 yards, keep the drive moving. It's like Kyle Hamilton kind of, again, he negates it. So far, in my opinion, I don't think he's been this blow me away Kyle Hamilton version that we saw last year. He had a great game last week, but I think that I need to see him again assert himself as, who he is, all pro safety and still growing in the league, even at how good he is. I'm excited to see him play live, especially. I haven't seen him play in a Ravens jersey yet. That's it's going to be awesome. It's going to be so much fun.
He's so good. And I can't wait to see after the game, whether win or loss, when the snap share comes out, and to see kind of what his percentage of snaps at each
Great
position
point.
were.
Yeah.
It's always very interesting to see because obviously there's more players than him, but he's always the guy where it's like 20% here, 30% here, 10% here, 3% here. Like he plays like 4 positions, 5 a game. It's insane. So it'll be interesting to see exactly their game plan for him. I would assume we're probably going to see 3 guys on the field, 3 safeties at the time. I would assume we're going to see Kyle Hamilton, Eddie Jackson, and Marcus Williams on the field a lot together. Just it's going to be a lot of DBs. So we're going to see. But I'm through the roof about this opportunity that Baltimore has in front of them because, man, this has got to be an opportunity that they take advantage of.
Yeah. So I should say mine now, Zach, right? My Ravens player.
Yes, sir. Go for
Okay,
it.
so when I look at Josh Allen, in my opinion, third best quarterback in the league, but whatever.
That's
okay. I think I'd agree with that.
Jason's not gonna agree though.
Yeah, Jason's not.
Yeah, I wonder what Jason thinks. That'd be
sorry, Jason. We don't need you to comment about it. We understand.
But
we understand that you think he's second.
When I look at Josh Allen, I'd say him and Lamar are the 2 best athletes at the quarterback position in the NFL, maybe in NFL history, to be honest, when you look at everything they can do from throwing to running. Josh Allen is sadly the size of defensive linemen, and he's faster than all of them too.
Yeah.
So, like, you compare OA and Josh Allen, they're like the same size. They're like the same person.
Which is insane. It's insane.
So it's just it's like, I feel like Josh Allen is like if Big Ben ran a 4.5, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of what I feel like he is.
That's a funny picture to imagine. Yeah.
So when I look at it, the only guy on our defense that I'm like, he could take down Josh Allen, it's Trenton Simpson. Like that's the only guy I'm like, he's going to take down Josh Allen. Kyle Hamilton probably too. Obviously, like Matt BK and Travis Jones, if they have him in their grasp, but it'll be hard to get there. So I just see, Josh Allen scrambling, running around, moving left, moving right. Trenton Simpson needs to get up there, make tackles, keep him from scrambling 8 yards on 3rd and 10. So that's why I'll say Trenton Simpson. I think, Roquan is just like not the size guy in terms of Josh Allen, similar to Queen. Roquan and Queen are 2, honestly, like pretty undersized linebackers, but Trenton Simpson is like that prototype, like 2010s linebacker size and also very, very fast. So I think if Trenton Simpson is able to not miss tackles on Josh Allen running around, I think the Ravens could have a very nice day on the defensive side of the ball. Also, I think Kyle Hamilton is probably another guy who could take down Allen as well.
Sure. Dawson, what do you think for a Raven that needs to have a big game?
I like that's a good play by Brad. I think Trent Simpson's a dog. And he's just so fast, dude. He's so physical and he's so quick. Like I could see, as scary as it would be to have Josh Allen running a full head of steam at you, I think Trent Simpson could be up for the task, and I think he could take him down. Josh Allen is best in the NFL by far at avoiding sacks that should be sacks. Best way to rush him is to squeeze the pocket and not that one free rusher kind of thing. By far. Ooh, it's a bold statement. Not
It is very, you
free
kind of
rush.
need to rush Lamar and Josh Allen in the same way. You just like
Yeah.
slowly more and more and more
Close the
until they have
pocket,
nowhere to go.
and
Yeah.
then they just turn around and run around and just find the ball 30 yards downfield. They're so good. I think they're easily 2 and 3 respectively in the NFL behind Mahomes. I think there's a large gap underneath Lamar and Allen, whoever's at 3. But not to get too far off track, my player of the game, hopefully, as far as which non-quarterback on the Ravens needs to have a big game. I'm hoping it's our boy Zay Flowers. I really want to see this breakout game, and I know it sounds crazy because Zay Flowers is obviously already a great receiver, and we know what we're getting from him. But I'm talking, I want a game like 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like I want a huge statement game by Zay Flowers. It's due, like because it hasn't happened yet, and I think this is a game, dude. Blackout at the bank. The Bills don't have an excellent secondary, very inexperienced mid-range secondary. And Zay Flowers is an incredible receiver. Obviously, he's very quick, very elusive. He plays all over the field. You can get him anywhere you want. And I think if there's a game to do it, it's this one. He's got an opportunity in front of him. And I think the Ravens are obviously going to be running a lot this game. I think they're going to want to kind of certify the clock and want to make sure they can keep Josh Allen sidelined as long as possible. Because I think that's the best recipe for success in this game is keeping him sidelined. But I think there's going to be a lot of chances for Flowers in this game, a lot of opportunities for him to be open and stuff. And I'm just hoping that, and I know it will, but his yards after catch ability is still there. And he just absolutely cooks this defense on the back end and gets behind him. And I think obviously, if he has a great game, Zay Flowers gets opened up and they get him going, I don't see why this Bills defense would be able to hold him, especially if you got Derrick Henry too running down your throat. So I think it's gonna be a Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers game. And I'm confident in the tight ends, and I do think that it's very soon. I think Mark Andrews is gonna kind of come out of the shadows soon and recertify himself as a top tight end. And I think likely he's still there, obviously. But I don't think it's this week. I'm not buying into it this week. I think this is gonna be a Derrick Henry and Zay Flowers game.
For this next part of our preview, we usually go into what the Bills need to do to win. Like if they want to win, they need to do blank. Brad, do you have something exact that the Bills need to do? I tend to be like a turnover ratio merchant. Like I keep like pointing towards that. Like, oh yeah, well if they pick them, yeah, they pick them. Oh yeah, that's usually. Yeah. I mean, like usually pointing to that. We usually talk about getting the run going. Brad, what do you think for the Bills wanting to win?
I feel like what we've seen from the Bills this year in these first 3 weeks and why they've been so successful is that Josh Allen hasn't needed to make those insane plays that he's made the past couple of years where he runs circles for 30 seconds, then fires a touchdown in the back of the end zone. Maybe like 1 or 2 times this season he's had to do that. And I think they need to be able to protect him, stay on script, not let the pressure get to them in their offensive line. And I think the Bills can have a really good day on the offensive side of the ball, attack the middle of the field because the Ravens have really, really struggled there. John Harbaugh talked about leverage issues being a big problem in the Cowboys game, and it might just be too short of a time span to fix that. So I just say stay on script on offense, attack the middle of the field.
That's a very good point, Brad. And I'm not going to skip this question, but that is the exact response I'm pretty much going to give as far as the next one for the Ravens. So I like that point. But I think if the Bills want to win this game and to give them the best shot at taking out Baltimore in their own house, I think they have to get this Ravens offense to be one-dimensional. We've seen in the past, unfortunately, how the Ravens offense can get one-dimensional in games where defenses come in and stop them. And if they can turn them into a one-dimensional offense, man, sometimes it gets real ugly real fast. So whether that's completely shutting down the pass and making Derrick Henry have to run 47 times and hopefully get going, or vice versa, if that's stuffing Henry and forcing the Ravens to pass 35 times. I think if this offense is one-dimensional against Buffalo, man, it could not lean in our favor. And I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm just going to say that if the Bills are able to shut down one side of this offense, man, it really, really diminishes our chances in this game.
So, like, I know I just said that about like the turnovers, and we usually point to the run game, but I think the run game we usually point towards for the Ravens because if they dominate, possession, then they tend to win games. For the Bills, since no team so far has really had over average in yards per carry and just rushing in general. The Bills have to get James Cook going, because if they don't get him going, I'm not sure where their offense would come from. It would have to result in what you guys were just talking about, big Josh Allen plays, like miracle plays. And since the Ravens have done so well at handling the run so far, I'm not really that worried about it. Like, maybe, they've really found something different this week, and then the Bills really mess us up. They gash us, and especially with their O-line and how well it's playing, how they go up against our D-line that's been performing really well lately. Maybe Unique gets in there and gets a few pressures, just different looks. But overall, I think the Bills have to run it well, and that seems like something we usually kind of push. But in this case, if they don't get that going, I don't know what they'll do. I'm just so puzzled by, so far in the season, even if they start off really hot and they get going, halfway through the third quarter, they kind of just stop letting James Cook run the ball. They've given it to their other guys. They have depth in the running back room, and they've, like Ray Davis, I think it is. They just tend to let other guys go. I mean, why not? If you're up that big or up that and confident, why not? But the Ravens really need to make sure it's James Cook on the field, because if it's not, then that means it's either a blowout or that means, I don't know, something bad. Nothing good, because if the running game is working for them, that means that something is very wrong with our defense. Maybe it's the opposite. It's opposite day on Sunday night with blackout, and our passing defense is just amazing all of a sudden. But I don't see that happening.
You're stressing out, Dawson.
It's a lot. It's a lot. But if the Ravens want to win, it's kind of what we're used to. It's Lamar making plays. But I think since we talked about so much over the middle, I need to see Mark Andrews and likely have a big game with how quiet they were last week. That's not necessarily saying that they are bad right now. I feel like a bunch of people have been asking me, maybe asking you guys as Ravens fans, what's up with Mark Andrews? What's up with Likely? Does that mean that they're going to be bad this whole year? Absolutely not. I think that this game is also a perfect opportunity, Dawson mentioned earlier, to stamp it and say, yeah, here comes a 4 catches, 50 yards game from Andrews that we're very used to. Maybe Likely gets involved in the same way. We need that type of game this time, because I'm not sure about if Monken's going to be very confident in playing the same way that those other teams have offensively, throwing it to the outside. I think Lamar's capable of it, but I don't think that's how we'll handle it. I feel like we'll kind of tend to go off script and handle it in a different way. What do you guys think for Ravens winning, what they need to do?
Like I said, I'm going to flip the script what Brad said as far as what the Bills need to do to win. I think the Ravens got to limit and get to Josh Allen. If you give that guy time, he makes miracles happen. I know the Ravens don't exactly have a phenomenal pass rush. And like I said, I'm very unsure of the Bills' offensive line as a whole. But if the Ravens allow Josh Allen to have 6 seconds per drop back and just scramble around, run around, and find these dudes that are going to get open, because it's damn near impossible to hold a wide receiver for 9 seconds. I mean, it's just not going to happen. So they need to get to Josh Allen, apply pressure, get him off his toes. And I know he's not a quarterback that gets rattled, because he's phenomenal. So it's not like you're going to get in his head and he's just going to create errors. It's just the matter of we've seen it time and time again. Josh Allen runs around and finds a dude in the back of the end zone wide open. It always happens. It's so infuriating. So I think they need to limit that, get to Josh Allen, apply pressure, and do not allow those freakish athletic plays to happen where dudes are just wide open. They need to get to him early and often, and do not give him any more time than the dude already needs.
Certainly, I think for my take on what the Ravens need to do to win, with the signing of Derrick Henry, it's been tough to get him involved the first week and a half, I would say. Chiefs and then first half of the Raiders game. But since then, I mean, he's been great. I would say if the Ravens want to win, they need to get an early lead. And that may be very cliche to say because of what's been happening recently. But I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say the Ravens have learned their lesson. And I think we've discovered, us and the Ravens organization has discovered, that with Derrick Henry, it's a lot easier to keep a lead and extend the lead than it is without having Derrick Henry. So I think, maybe, and obviously this is way easier said than done. I'm just saying if the Ravens do this, they can probably win the game. Maybe like a 10-0 lead, 14-0 lead, get Derrick Henry running down the hill. Maybe you're also in a situation where you get the ball after half. I think that can be a spot where the Ravens are successful in this one.
Yeah, like I feel like we always kind of bang the Derrick Henry drum, but it's like in this type of game, how crucial it is to keep the ball away from him, and what we've learned like from last week, and what was it, 28-6? Wasn't it 28-6? Like,
yeah.
Dude, like Super Bowl, freaking Tom Brady was laughing about it too. Like, dude, like that's just not an acceptable score. You can't let them get close from that. Like the Bills just perfectly did it last week. Like they were on the Jaguars' throats the entire time. Like it was brutal. Thankfully, there was 2 Monday Night Football games, so I was like, yeah, let me watch the Commanders somehow beat the Bengals. Like it was so much fun. But I wanted to go into this final score prediction.
One more thing on Derrick Henry, just this tweet I wanted to share that I put on my story from Jay Moyer. Derrick Henry in the all-black Ravens uniform is the Mona Lisa of running back aesthetics. Our descendants will still be in awe 500 years from now.
Descendants.
Dude, facts. Dude, that is actually like the GOAT of running back aesthetics.
Lamar and Derrick Henry in the all-black, man. Zay Flowers, Isaiah Likely. It's gonna be nasty, dude. This game's gonna be so exciting. I mean, it's everything you could ask for as far as an early season AFC Championship preview, whatever you want to call it. I'm not trying to get too high on this pony. I'm just saying it's 2 of the most favored teams to go all the way, and it's gonna be awesome. But dude, lost for words. Pumped.
Yeah, for final scores, gentlemen, what do you guys think is going to happen in this game? I'm going to be there. So if I can't imagine any universe where I somehow convince myself that they'd lose, or that I say that we're going to lose, there's no chance. Final score for me, I like 27-21 Ravens. It's going to be a little closer than I hope, but I think they get this done. What's so important to me, I almost picked it for our last segment, this non-QB that needs to have a big game. We talked about it with the Q&A. Tucker has got to get going, or else this is going to be a rough season. Like I'm nervous about that for the future more than just right now and this coming game. Like there's going to be opportunities for him to kick in this game. I know there is. The Bills are going to, one to bend, not break type of thing until they get closer to the opposing end zone. Like Tucker really's got to get going. And I think maybe he nails 2, whether they're close or not. I think they get it done. Ravens win 27-21.
Man, this is Brad. You can go take it away.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll go here so we can end on a high note. But I'm gonna take the Bills.
Wait, what?
I'm gonna take the Bills to win this one in a very, very high scoring game. I got them winning 31-27. I just think this is gonna be a game where we've seen how good the Bills' offense has been through 3 weeks. Like the Jags just could not do a thing. Obviously, we're a lot better than the Jags, but I just think with Zach Orr being new and the issues that came up in the Dallas game last week, I just think it might be too short of a timeline to fix all of that stuff. And I think Joe Brady and Josh Allen are gonna be able to attack that, the middle of the field, the safeties, possibly Nate Wiggins, all that stuff. But at the same time, obviously, I have the Ravens having a great game on the offensive side of the ball as well. I think it's going to be kind of 2 defenses struggling in this one, and maybe the Bills, score a touchdown at the end of the game or something like that to win this one 31-27.
Break my heart, Brad. Break my heart, dude.
I don't know, man. This is truly a 50-50 toss-up. Like I said, this whole pod, it's just great team against great team. And unfortunately, I think the Ravens drop this game too. I think the Bills win. Oh, wait, never mind. It's Thursday. I've changed my mind. I got this weird optimism in the last 48 hours. The last 48 hours, man. I've completely flipped the script on this game. You would have asked me Tuesday night, I'm going Bills. If I'm a betting man, I'm putting money on the Bills. But for some reason, in the last 48 hours or so, I have this weird, unbiased perspective of the Ravens just slapping them in the face. Not saying they're blowing them out. I'm not predicting a blowout by any means, But I think the Ravens have too much at stake in this game, and I think the coach knows that. I think our franchise quarterback obviously knows that, and I think all the young guys in this team knows. And for some reason, dude, when they're all black at home on prime time night football, dude, they are another breed of a football team, dude. If this was at 1 o'clock on a Sunday at the bank, I'm smacking the Bills money line every time. I'm just
That's
being honest,
awesome.
dude. If it's 1 o'clock on Sunday at the bank, Bills are winning 100%, not a doubt in my mind. But this is prime time Sunday night football, dude. They're coming into your house undefeated. Do we remember what happened in 2019 when the 8-0, I think, Patriots came into the
That's what
bank?
I was gonna bring up. Yes, thank you.
8-0 Patriots came into the bank on primetime game. I think it was like a Monday Night Football or something.
Sunday.
Yeah.
They came in undefeated, dude. Everything going for them. I think, dude, there was nothing going for us. Like nobody expected us to win. And what do? Smack them in the mouth. Our franchise quarterback carried us to a win. That's going to happen this Sunday night. Lamar Jackson's going to put this team on his back with Derrick Henry, and it's going to be absolutely lights out performance by the offense. And I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I think our defense is going to have to make one stop towards the end, and we ice this game. I think it's going to come down to the end, dude. I think I'm going to say, oh God, dude, I'm going to say like a 30 to 27 type game. I think we have the lead. I'm not saying we kick a game winning field goal. I think they march down and our defense holds the last stand and we can just ice this game. But Ravens are historically great on primetime football at the bank. It's you can't argue it. They're great. And they always come prepared. And I think the Ravens get this, man. I think this is a big time game, and everybody knows that. Backs against the wall. Bills are undefeated. I think it's too good to be true. They don't go 4-0. I think the Ravens take them down, and the AFC gets even tighter than it is.
Yeah, we were on the same wavelength. I wanted to bring up the Patriots so bad. This is like the same vibe.
Dude,
I went
will
into it.
never forget that game.
Yeah, right. Like it was an iconic game for Lamar, and I think I don't remember their record. I think the Patriots were 8-0, but I think
Patriots
we were
were
like
8-0.
7-1.
Ravens were
Patriots
6-2.
8-0.
6-2.
We were
6-2
yeah.
sounds good. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
we were good, but
yeah.
they were fantastic.
8-0. Yeah,
Like
it was.
everybody was like Patriots, and we literally just.
But doesn't it make so much sense that it's kind of like it feels similar? Like it's kind of like the
100%.
weird vibe of them being undefeated and just head over everyone else and
right now
record and play.
Everyone's concerned with Baltimore right now.
Like my mind is telling me to predict, 27-21. My heart's telling me to predict 27-14, 27-13. I don't remember what the final score was. It was around that. And like I could definitely see something like that. Like it probably wasn't that far off with the Cowboys game until we let them back into it. So hey, maybe we put a real stamp down.
Yeah, I had the Ravens blowing out the Cowboys, and they did until they recovered onside kicks and stuff like that. But one thing I was going to say, no team in the NFL is better than the Ravens as a team. I was going to say Ravens are underdogs, but they're not somehow. But no one's better than the NFL than a Ravens playing a team that's supposedly better than them. So,
dude, facts. All last season, we went across the country into San Fran. We beat them. I mean, this Ravens team, dude, when it comes to primetime, big time games, they show out, dude. There's no doubt. I can't remember a primetime game where we genuinely came out and were flat on our face. It doesn't happen. And I definitely think there was something within the castle this week with Lamar Jackson and John Harbaugh, as far as we saw how visibly upset Lamar was, even after we won in Dallas on the plane on Marlon Humphrey's IG Live. Lamar Jackson was not happy. He's mad. He's mad because we almost lost that game, and that's not how this Ravens team should be playing right now. So I think, there was probably a little bit of communication this week with Todd Monken and John Harbaugh with our franchise quarterback, and I think they know how much it means to them to keep your foot on the gas pedal. And I can't imagine that, they don't know how much he cares about this. And I think Lamar, man, he knows how much this means to the team, and they know how much it means to him. So this has got to be a good game for Baltimore, man. And I think they're going to just come out with their heads on a swivel, bro, and just be playing hard nose Baltimore Ravens football.
Yeah, gosh, what a preview for a game. Like this is just everything you could ask for early in a season. Sunday night football. This is an iconic look for the NFL. It's perfect right now. They honestly have a bunch of great matchups this whole weekend, but gosh, this is standing out pretty much.
I just want to hear
blackout at the bank.
Mike Tirico.
Yeah.
Mike Tirico, that's my guy, dude.
I saw Mark Ingram as the legend of the game.
I did see that.
I love
did see
that. 2 seasons as a Raven, you get to be legend of the game. I think that's hilarious in
That's
the best
awesome.
way possible.
That's
Everyone loves Mark. Yeah, he's gonna get him hype. He's gonna get me hype. Like that's also
I'm
really
jealous,
sweet.
Zach. You're gonna have a good time, dude. The
Pretty
bank is
young.
like
I
none other,
oof,
and you're gonna
it's
see a fantastic game.
yeah. I can't even put it into words how excited I am.
Okay, Trick Taylor. Okay, buddy.
Yeah, what's with all the Bills fans in the chat? I mean, I
Yeah,
appreciate you being here, but it's like,
We're
okay,
gonna
all right.
expose.
What's
We're gonna
up, guys?
No, we like it. We like it.
Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah,
appreciate
we're
all the
respectful.
stuff
I
that
did want
Jason
to.
was doing.
I do want to point out. I almost said it mid, but just reminded me if I've seen their comments. There's been a lot of turmoil this week as far as Bills and Ravens fans crapping on opposing, the other's quarterback. And I just want to say, dude, these guys have nothing but respect for each other. These coaches have nothing but, and these teams have nothing but respect for each other. There's no hate. Josh Allen was praising Lamar, and Lamar's praised Josh Allen in the past. There's no hate between these teams, but for some reason, the fans think so, and they hate each other. I mean, respectively, Bills fans hate Ravens fans hate Bills fans. It's a weird thing because it makes you almost hate the other team's quarterback, but they have nothing but respect and love for each other. So at the end of the day, people got to see that, man. There's no hate. There's no hate there. These guys love each other, and they know they're great competitors. So we gotta chill out with all this hatred. But there's none to go around. It doesn't need to.
I loved Josh Allen's quote. Maybe other than people in our own buildings, I don't think anybody thought that we'd be playing right now. As in, he's talking about him and Lamar together. They
Yeah.
both were heavily doubted,
Oh,
and
for
they
sure.
both have proved people wrong over and over again. So
That's an awesome quote. That's a sweet quote.
I mean, they're both phenomenal, and I don't understand why they get the hate they do. It's just it shows you what the NFL fan base does not appreciate is you're watching two arguably that could be the greatest of all times at their position, and people just don't appreciate it. They'd rather just hate on it. Why are we against each other? I love that Multac. That's facts, dude.
I don't know, Multec. We gotta team up at some point. Golly, man. Like, geez,
Just
it's getting
join the
old.
teams and make one team.
would Lamar and Josh Allen both be on the field at the same time?
Oh my god, dude.
Why not, right? Like, shoot, throw him out there. Like, dude, basically, Josh Allen's basically like Derrick Henry. Like, dude, he's
Like they can
not
rotate
dying.
like being the running back. Like every
Yeah.
drive they rotate who's the quarterback and who's the running back. And then you can just throw it. The running back can throw the ball 75 yards whenever they want.
Flea
Yeah.
flickers. Oh my god.
Yeah, they'd be cooking, dude. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming in here, talking with us about the preview, seeing what's up. Can't wait for this game. Can't wait to see you guys in Baltimore. It's going to be so much fun hearing the crowd. If you enjoyed it, please like and rate the podcast. We're on Spotify. We're working to get onto Apple soon. Show some love if you guys want that. But yeah, we will see you guys in the next one, hopefully after a big Ravens W. See you guys.
Shout out to all the Bills fans being here. Jason, had fun with you.
Yeah,
Multac,
facts.
everyone, thanks for being here.
Yeah,
See you
appreciate
guys.
you guys.